What do I study to get ready for the Component 1 test and National Board Certification for World Languages? This is one of the biggest questions we hear from candidates, and I'm here to share with you the information that National Board does give us, which isn't as much as maybe we'd like, but there is some information there. National Board tells us that Standards 2 and 4 are going to be covered on the exam. So if you haven't read those National Board Standards for World Language Instructors, that's your first step. Standard 2 is about knowledge of language, which we'll focus on in this video today. There are 7 areas that are encompassed in knowledge of language. The first one is phonological systems. Phonological systems are the sounds that are represented in your target language. So the sounds that we have to work with students to teach them to produce and to say correctly, that's what's going to be addressed in that phonological systems component. Second, how language works. To me, this means linguistic terminology. From back in college, you might have to go back and review terms like pragmatics, phonology, morphology, semantics. What do each of those linguistic terms mean, and can you identify some examples of them in sentences and know how they're used in your classes? The third area is cultural values. This is how language is influenced by culture. So this would be different dialects, different subcultures, and places where cultural values are impacting the use of language. Fourth, rhetorical and stylistic devices. These are those devices that you learned about in poetry class when you were in high school. Things like simile, anecdote, allusion. Those terms, it's worth taking time to review them and know a few examples of them in action or be able to identify them when you see them. Fifth, geographical variations. This would refer to major dialects of your target language. So review some of those dialects. You're probably more familiar with some than others, but what are words or terms that are common in different dialects of your language? Sixth is the current trends in the target language. This would include things like slang. It would include philosophical or sociological debates around things like the use of gendered language or the different terminology that's coming in from English or from other languages and debates related around that. So what are some of those societal issues in the target language, current trends? The last area is comparison of English and the target language. And to me, this involves the concept of language transfer, which is where a language learner brings a concept from their first language and incorrectly applies it in their language that they're learning, in the target language. What are mistakes that your students make because of their first language, and how do you address those? Those are some of the areas included in this Knowledge of Language Standard 2. For more information, check out our other videos, and don't forget to get our new book coming out about achieving National Board Certification in World Languages.